Om Gyanatimidandasya Gyanam Jara Sharakaya Chakshurun Meditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namahum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatari Shatarine. Haribol. I must say, although I'm smiling, anyway, you can see that's part of my face, can come out. But in my heart, I feel sad this morning because we're leaving tomorrow. And I already feel separation in my heart. And I just wanted to thank you so much for your sweet association. I will be longing to be with you again. And I'd like to thank Siddhari Prabhu also for making all the arrangements for Maharaj and I to come. He has been also so merciful towards me. He has given me this special opportunity to be able to share a few Braj Leelas with you. So thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me also to be in your sweet association. Okay, so are you ready for part 2? Final episode of the search the search for the 10,000 Shalagram Shilas. So let's get back to where we left off last time. So we were saying that so Ram Bahadur Kumar, he came to me and he was like, he seems like he saw a ghost, and then he told me, I'm so sorry, but Damodar Gautami completely refused. And then we were explaining how I chanted for 2 hours, and I had to tell the Prabhus they had to come down because there was no possibility. One thing I forgot, actually, the year before we had found a 35 kg Shalagram Shila. It was this size, really big. And naturally, because we had so many Shilas we had to bring, we didn't bring that Shila with us. We decided to hide it under the sand, but we didn't think that the river moves. So just the last day, the Prabhus, they decided to go to Kakbeni. They were thinking maybe they will get the authorization and they can take the 500 Damodar Shilas and also try to find that Shila in Kakbeni. And they look and they couldn't find it. No, it's like that. Krishna, he likes to hide. So basically, they had to come down. And what happened? So Ram Bahadur Kumar said, okay, finally, after the Lord's intervention in the heart of Damodar Gautam, thank you, Krishna. So Ram Bahadur told me, yes, finally, it is accepted. But what happened? It's Nepal. At that time, there was a electric shutdown. So there was no electricity in the building. And the only way it could make me a letter was through the computer and print it. So I said, I don't know what to do. We'll have to wait. It's Nepal before the current comes back. It took 3 hours, and it was 5 o'clock. I could see he was completely exhausted. Ram Bahadur, he was emotionally exhausted. And like you were saying, he was afraid for his life and everything. So I didn't want to push it too much. I said, okay, now everyone is, the office is closing. We can come back tomorrow morning. Anyway, the Prabhus, they were not coming until 11. So finally, we decided that we'll meet in the morning. I go at 9 o'clock. So, like we were saying, he was shocked that we wanted to bring like 6,000 Shalagram Shilas. So we had, agreed that we will be able to bring 2,000. So I go back in the morning, then he makes me the letter. So what happens after that is that, okay, so he tells me, okay, I gave you the letter, but I told him this one more thing actually, because last year they gave us like a stamp of approval. So on each box, like the old days, they take some wax and then they stamp it over the paper. So that's what they did. They did like the Department of Archaeology stamp on each box. So I said, can you do that? And he said, no, I'm sorry. I've done so much for you already. We're not going to get into that. And then I had to beg him again. And please, please, we won't be able to pass the customs without this seal, because it proves that we didn't put anything else in the boxes. They don't have to search. And if they start searching, we don't know what will happen and everything. Maybe they can steal some of the shilas because it's the treasure of Nepal. So we didn't want that to happen. So I begged him again, I don't know how many times I begged him, but I think he must have been fed up with me at the end. And he was actually, you'll understand why.
What can you ask on the chat, on the Zoom, if everybody knows the story we're talking about?
Does everybody know the story we're talking about?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance. Maharaj, I missed yesterday's session, so I'm
okay.
stuck.
Uh-huh.
You want to give you like a quick summary, like in 2 minutes? Like
Yes, of course.
Yes, Vishal also can hear it.
Okay, so you can listen to the part 1. It's on YouTube. But actually, so what happened is that a few years ago, Maharaj, he received a divine inspiration in his heart to make a temple for 10,000 Shalagram Shilas. So we decided to start, and it took many years, many trips, and finally we got to collect 10,300 Shalagram Shilas. So I won't go through the whole story, you can listen to it. But basically, we are at the end of on this trip I'm speaking about, we spoke about yesterday, we collected more than 8,000 Shalagram Shilas, and it was our last trip because we knew we had collected enough for more than 10,000. But the thing is, we had so many complications. The mayor of the town in Kagbeni was threatening us, wanting to kill us. He was saying like that, I will kill you, I will shoot you. So you can listen to, like I was saying, the part 1. But we went through so many difficulties. I had to go to so many ministries of the Nepalese government to get authorizations. And then finally, we had the Prabhus. They're still in the mountains. They collected all the shilas as I was staying in Kathmandu to make the arrangements with the papers and everything. So they're coming down, and then we are at the end, There's 2 days left. We need to go back to France and bring all the shilas. So, okay, in the morning, he tells me, okay, now, finally. And then after we speak, I express again my gratitude and everything. He agrees that we get the stamps. So what we decide to do is that the Prabhus, they will come at 11. So the next morning, we will come with all the boxes. But he only had agreed that we bring 2,000 Shalagram Shilas, but we had 8,400. So what? And we knew it was so complicated. We knew we didn't want to go through that again, because it's been so hard, so complicated, and so much bureaucracy. And we're afraid that the next year they will not really agree, because you remember he told, this is the last time I do that for you. And we wouldn't know through whom department we will be able to pass. So basically, so yes. So we go back the next morning, but the thing is that we didn't want to leave the shilas behind. We didn't know what to do. So we spoke with Govinda Tandon. You remember? The priest of the Passionate. He was a political man, but he actually made a big organization where they build ashrams for kids, like Gurukul all across Nepal. And like kids in the street and like that, poor kids, they are able to live ashram life and also able to have a proper education and everything. So, nice projects he's doing around in Nepal. So he gave us this idea, and it was coming from him. So I said, okay, what you could do, you know, you have these big boxes, you could make false bottoms. Because to bring the Shilas, I just explained a little bit. Shilas are, I mean, there's Krishna first. It's a deity. It's directly Krishna. So they're fragile. They're stones. So in order to protect them, there's a whole thing we have to do. Like we get like, how do you call that? Bubble paper? You know, these little... Bubble wrap. So like, you know, the special ones, you take bubble wrap, you wrap it with the bubble wrap, and then we use that, you know, these things we use for pools or for big like wires. It's like a foam thing you put around, you know, so that it protects. So we had these things we will put in the bottom. In between, we made different layers of shilas, and small ones we will put together in bubble wraps and everything. Everything is packed up properly. So Govinda said, actually, you make a false bottom and you try to fit all the shilas, because he had agreed that we bring 20 boxes. Previous year we brought 15 boxes, 1,500 shalagram shila, plus what we brought in our luggage through the airport. So this time we had much more. So that's what we did. We spent hours and hours and hours. We didn't sleep the whole night. And then we were packing the shilas, and I mean, it's like, I don't know how we could do that, but in 18 boxes, we fit all the 8,400 shalagram shilas. It was like a miracle. And with proper false bottoms, it looked pretty, you know, first class. So what we do, we get there in the morning. We arrived at the department, and like we did the previous year, it's interesting, the Department of Archaeology. It's a department where they actually make sure that there's a proper protection and authorization for sending like artifact things, or, you know, old statues that they sell to collectors and things like that. So I had to go to the inspector to show what we had. So we bring all the boxes in a big truck. And I remember, like, just even to bring the bus, because we had to bring the bus through the hotel. So I spent a week before so I could find a guest house with a proper gate by which the bus could go in, because, you know, you have to understand these boxes are heavy. Speaking about 95 kgs, 80, this is super heavy. So I got a place, you know, it was a little bit out of town, so it looked, you know, we don't attract too much attention. So basically, I found this place with a big gate and the bus was able to go through. So the next day we ordered a truck to bring all the boxes, and we had 18 boxes. So we get there, I go meet the inspector, and then she tells me, but do you have pictures of the boxes? And I said, oh no, I forgot to take pictures. And that was a good idea. I was thinking, maybe if I would have like just taken pictures, they wouldn't have wanted to see what was inside, and that we had false bottoms with so much more. Because what we did, for each box, we put a particular number on top, like of the false bottoms, we put a certain amount of shilas. But because we had so much, although we said like 80 for one box, there was 100 on top, you know. And we put a bunch of shilas together so that it didn't seem there was so much. So we had no choice, you know. It was a last trip. We didn't wanted to forget any Krishnas in the form of Shila in Nepal, because we wanted to worship them properly. And like I was saying, I just saw recently also, I was looking for Shalagram Shilas on YouTube, what they had. And there's a video where you see a man, he finds a very beautiful Shila on Khalid Gandaki, and he breaks it with a hammer, you know. So you see that it happens. I've seen that with my own eyes. The police, you remember that story where they confiscated the 500 shilas? They wanted to see what was inside, and they dropped them like nothing. Took the bag, put it on the side, everything fell on the floor. There's 3 beautiful shilas that broke into pieces. You know, my heart was broken, you know, so hard. So we were really eager to save Krishna and bringing for proper worship in our temple. So then I was saying, oh no, I didn't take any pictures. Then she calls Ram Bahadur Kumar and says, you should have taken pictures. I was thinking, that's right, I should have taken pictures. That way, the next chapter will not have happened, you know. But we were so much, you know, so much things to do. We were exhausted, like just so much on the ball. We couldn't think about every little detail. So she says, yes, actually, if you don't have pictures, we have to at least, she tells Ram Bahadur, shall we count one box? That inspector shared the idea. So he says, okay, count one box. And I was thinking, oh no, What happens if they count the box and they see that we have more? And then during these next 6 hours, my heart, was like so much pumping. I mean, it was really intense. And so I was like, oh no, I know it's not gonna, because if they realize, then what will happen next? I don't know. So basically, there was, we had found a cargo company, Capital Cargo, that was ready to ship the Shilas. But what happened? The morning, actually, the president of the cargo company, he was afraid because it's the first time that he was sending salagram Shilas by boat. And he didn't know how this will happen, and he wanted to make sure that we had proper authorization. So he sent one of his men, of his employee, to come and check what was happening. But when the guy came, he was just completely unfavorable to us. I could see in his eyes, he was just like not happy, and he didn't really respect what we were doing. So that was another complication also. So the guy comes in, and then he's the one, that guy, who seems so not happy to be there. He's there, and he's the one that is counting the Shilas. And I was thinking, what will I do? And then I was praying Krishna in my mind, what can I do, please? Inspire me. So what we did, because there were like a few small Shilas wrapped in bubbles. So what I will do, I will try to quickly put the bags in his hand, so he wouldn't really realize how many Shilas I was putting in. And he was counting one, two, and I was I was doing so fast so that it wouldn't go, because I knew that box was written 80, but there was 100 Shilas on top. We had no choice. We had so many. And we followed the advisor, Govinath, and I said, don't worry, it will work. So, and I go like this, and go really fast, make sure that it doesn't go on top. So then 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. And then she looks, she says, oh, you have more than you said. So she goes to see Ram Bahadur Kumar, and we counted and there's more than 80. What should we do? We should count them all. Oh, Krishna. And now my heart really started to pump, And then I was thinking, what are we going to do? So they opened the boxes, and actually, as they were looking inside to see the numbers, the guy from Capital Cargo is the one that found the first false bottom. And when they saw that, they were all looking at each other. And the inspector, she was laughing even. And I was thinking, I think she realized what we were up to.
No.
So she goes to see Ram Bahadur Kumar, and he's completely, he's taken away by the situation. Already he was freaking out, like I was saying the other day. So this was a very emotional moment for our dear friend Ram Bahadur Kumar. So then he says, oh no, come on, what's happening here? And they say, okay, what we'll do, we'll count. You already put, we had written numbers so that it will equal 2,000, because that's the numbers we were allowed. So they said, we will take out all the Shilas, and we'll just put back in each box the number that you have put, so that it ends up, the total is 2,000 Shilas. So they did that, and then as they were going taken out, they could see there were all the boxes had false bottoms, and there were so much more salagram Shilas. And actually, it's like the whole department of archaeology froze for a day. I mean, there must have been 15 people going at it, because we had so many Shilas, and everyone was there, and I could see. And Ram Bahadur Kumar, he came down, and he looked at me in the eyes. He said, I'm very sad with you. I'm very sad with you. Really disappointed. Look at me. This is the last time I do this for you. This is finished. I was thinking, oh no. And then, so basically, because we could only bring 2,000 Shilas, what we decided, we will get the bigger ones, the biggest, the most beautiful, and the rest we will keep aside. So we had our friend Govinath and Tandon, he had this temple, this Ram temple. So we decided, okay, at the end of the day, we packed in boxes again, and we sent to his temple to keep in storage for another time. We had no choice. So it took hours and hours. We got there at 9 o'clock. It was 4 o'clock. We had finished all the boxes, and Ram Bahadur, he was there all the time. He was looking at me completely, taken aback by the situation. So finally, it's 4 o'clock, and he looks at me and he says, actually, we can't send the boxes like that. What if they're not... the stamp was there, but there was just a small lock. Someone could just, very easily take out the lock and see what's inside, maybe put some drugs or whatever. So he looks at me, he says, actually, this doesn't work. The previous year, we didn't have any problem, but this year was a completely different situation. So then he looks at me and he says, no, actually, what we'll do, you go back to your hotel. It's been a very big day, an exhausting day for all of us. You go back and you come back tomorrow morning. No, actually, you don't need to come back. The cargo man can come and seal with wires, like, very, how do you call that? Very big wires. You go around and everything. And then I said, no, it's not possible. Tomorrow morning we're leaving, because I didn't want him to take care. We wouldn't know what will happen if finally he keeps the Sheilas and the cargo man, he freaks out, and then they don't want to send them because they're afraid that something's going to happen to them. Because one thing Ram Bahadur was telling me, what happened in the past, he gave me, like he told me, if you want, I can give you a cargo company that we're working with that could, make the transport for you. So I tried to call him again. I was then in Karbeni, then came back to Kathmandu, and we're busy with all these things. I was trying to reach him, and he never responded back to me about that cargo company. And he said, you should have listened to me. I had a cargo company for you. But I said, I'm sorry, we're never able to discuss about it. I tried to call you many times, and he said, oh, you're so complicated and everything. So and anyway, we're here now. There's no choice. So basically, I tell him it's not possible. We have to go tonight. We have to bring the boxes to the cargo company. We want to make sure they're shipped before we go to the airport. We were going to go to the airport at 6 o'clock the next morning. So I said, no. And then I really had to beg him. I remember I fell at his feet and I begged him, please, I'm so sorry, please. And then finally, he reluctantly accepted. So we had 1 hour, okay? 1 hour. And then the cargo guy said, yes, we can do it. So what we did in 1 hour, there were 7 of us, plus, the cargo guy and everything. So we split into 2 teams. One team went with all the boxes, with the Sheilas. They had to go back to the hotel. Imagine the time it takes, wrap up again, because we had to open all the Sheilas. Like put into bubble, it takes hours and hours. So put into bubble wraps again, because we were going to take the airport and we could bring 8 bags with us. We had 46 kgs, like we did the previous year. So we were going to put like, 8 packages of 23 kgs. You make the calculation. We brought that many Sheilas with us in the airplane. Besides the 2,000 that they called 882 kgs. And in these boxes, one was 95 kgs. It took 4 men to lift it, so heavy. So we have 1 hour before the department closed. It was like a complete race. It was so crazy. I mean, it feels like time was just expanding. I'm serious. I mean, how could we do that in 1 hour in Kathmandu, trying to get a taxi and everything? I mean, this is a complete miracle. So basically, one team goes in, like it's a big going to put the bubble wraps again. I go with Sudam and we go to get the boxes, like protected with wires and everything. So finally, we have that. Everything is done. We have the paper. We send the boxes through the cargo company. Everything works. Then we have 8 baggages full of Sheilas for the airport, and the rest, which he called 5 boxes, we left at the Ram Mandir temple. So actually, it was 8:50 at night. I needed to have a bill, because I had this idea the previous year that if we get a bill from a shop, because in Kathmandu there's so many shops in Tamil, that's where we're staying. It's like kind of the backpackers or trekkers district. So I was thinking, we did that the previous year. We get a bill, a receipt from any shop, and we buy Sheilas for any number of Sheilas for a certain price. So then it was 8:50. I was in a complete dilemma. I had to find yak cheese and bread for breakfast the next morning to offer to Krishna. Or I had to get the receipt. And I was thinking, the bread and the yak cheese or the receipt? The bread of the yak cheese, the receipt. The bread of the cheese. That's okay, no, the receipt. So finally, because, this was most important. So I go to the guy the previous year who gave me a receipt. He was the only one. I went to so many shops, and he's the only one who accepted me to give me a false receipt, with a number of Sheilas and everything. So I go to the guy again, and I say, remember I came last year? I'd given him some money. It's like that, you have to, for the service of the Lord. So I come back to him. You remember I was there last year, and I'm here now again. I really need a receipt. Can you do the same thing? I give you 500 rupees, please, if you can do that for me. And he looks around, doesn't have any receipt. You know, he's about to close. The guy's tired. He worked all day. So finally, he goes. I said, please look around. So he goes up, and in the garbage there was one receipt left. It's not a joke. There was one receipt left. So he takes the receipt out, and then he writes 2,000 shilas for 200 euros in case we need extra proof when we get to the airport because we had eight baggages of 23 kgs. So that's a lot of chilas. So finally, I even got time. Actually, what I did, because yak cheese, we like to offer yak cheese to Krishna. And we didn't have any time to do the grocery as it was just such an hectic day. So finally, I go to that place. The guy is sleeping upstairs. I say, hey, you remember, I love your yak cheese. Please, can you sell us some more? So the guy wakes up and comes down, gives me a big piece of yak cheese. I had already found the bread also. So I go back to the room. I mean, we have to understand this whole operation takes a lot of space. And we had found, it's like, I don't know, this is mystical. This is definitely the Yoga Maya working because how we could get people to not ask so much questions when we're getting into hotels. Like you remember this in Johnson, we were staying 2 weeks when nobody stayed ever before such long time in a place, in the guest house in the Himalayas. So anyway, we could see Krishna was just working things out. I mean, it's a complete miracle. Right? You can see how when the Lord desires something, nothing can stop him. And this for me was a total proof of it. So basically, I get that the Prabhus, they're just exhausted putting the bubble wraps. We went to bed at midnight. We slept for 3 hours that night. And then I had the idea because we didn't know if maybe something will happen in the airport and they will refuse the Shilas. So I'd rented another taxi in case that was waiting at the airport. And in case we were not passed through with the Shilas, I will go with the taxi. We had maybe like 2 hours gap, I will go back with the taxi to the Ram temple, and then I will store all the shilas there. We just wanted to make sure everything, So we get there in the morning, and it's just, wow. And all of us, we dress, Vaishnava and everything nicely. So we go in, and the guy, just super sweet guy, the custom guy, looks at it, oh, wow, Vaishnavas, very happy to see us. And in these moments, you have to be, it's like, you have to be very present and you say, so happy to see you, how are you, and everything. And then he passes through the x-ray, the baggages, because we had so many, and we had like, come on. We had 8 baggages full of shilas, plus we had 12 hand luggage. But huge, because we had so much equipment. There were 7 of us, we had the prasadam for the plane and everything, 12, and heavy stuff, Many of the hand luggages were like 10 kgs, something like that. So then he passes, he said, oh, okay, wow, Shilas. He said, what do you do with this? I said, we have a temple, we worship there. He said, oh, no problem, Vaishnavas, it's very nice. So we go like butter, in French we say it passed like butter, just like in true butter. So we go in, no problem, and then there's this guy. We arrived just before we had gotten the, how do you call the check-in. We had the check-in ticket, and then we're about to go through the security. But before we go, there's a guy from the airplane company goes at us, hey, hey, and he was screaming, very intense guy. He said, "What are you doing there?" And then he looks, he sees we have 12 luggages, he sees 7 people. He said, "This is not possible," and he starts screaming like that. I'm not kidding. He was just totally crazy. And then he was screaming, "You have no right to do this." And then he makes a big fuss, and then all the people are looking at us. So that I have this, Krishna inspires me in my heart. The 7 of us, 12 luggages, most of them are 10 kgs. I go, and I take 5 luggages with me because there were 7 of us, and I had somewhere. Thank you, Krishna. Krishna is the source of remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And sometimes he makes people forget so that we can pass more shilas, and sometimes he makes us remember good ideas. So basically, I hide somewhere. I take the biggest, quickly, because as he was going to see them, and he was not looking at us, he was looking towards the counter. I go straight away, being the biggest. And then they look, and as they're, putting the hand luggages on the weight machine, they see 10 kgs, 12 kgs. Now you can't do that. It's maximum 1 hand luggage per person, 7 kgs. I said, oh. So basically, we take out, and we had a lot because we were doing not trekking, but we're in the mountains. We need good shoes, big goggles, things like that. So we equipped ourselves with all the equipment that we had. Maharaj, you had two big, we all put on top of us, extra stuff, the goggles, everything. I mean, like what can you do, when you want to serve Krishna? Huh? There are pictures of us, not in the airport there, but that would have been epic, definitely. But just picture, we're in sannyas dress and everything. We put these goggles, all these big coats on top. We had to put our big trekking shoes, they were super heavy and everything. So finally, we're about to make it down to 7 kgs, and it's not finished. It's just the beginning. So we arrive. We're about to go inside the airplane, and what happens? There's another security checkpoint, looking at each luggage that we have. First of all, as we're waiting in line to enter into the airplane, we look right, and then there's a guy, a security guy, says, "Who is that box? That baggage? To whom does that belong?" And then we look. This is our luggage with the Shalagram Shila, and we're all looking at each other. Oh no, Krishna! And then,
what happened to the 5 luggages that you took away?
well, they came in, but there was that one luggage he wanted to open. So then I go with Sudam, and he looks, "Is there any battery phone?" He said, no battery phone. It's just Shalagram Shilas. Look, Shalagram, very sacred, beautiful. So speaking, very sweetly to the guy, "Oh, nice to meet you. How are you?" And we're monks and everything. We have nice temper in France. So we try to kind of chill out with the guy, and I said, "Oh, okay, you don't have battery phone?" No battery phone. You see, just Shalagram Shilas, no problem. So finally, it passed through. Okay, that's all right. And then it's not finished. We arrive. When we arrive, just about to enter the airplane, the guy looks at us, but he says, "There's 7 of you, and I see 12 luggage there." So this is not possible. And I look at him and I said, "We're monks. We're Vaishnavas. We have this temple in France, and we came here, to see the holy places, to do nice pilgrimages. We want to see beautiful temples in the Himalayas, because we did go to Muktinath. That was true, So please, I'm sorry, we have a lot of stuff because we have to cook ourselves. We have a special diet. Can you please, we're just monks. Can you please let us go through these things? I'm very sorry. It was a big trip, and we needed a lot of luggage and everything." So he said, "Okay." You see, Krishna is doing something there. So we go in with all these luggages, and imagine us, with the goggles and everything.
Real
Yes.
quick, sorry to interrupt. I'm confused. How did you hide the 5 bags and then get them through security? You had the 5 extra bags.
Yes. Actually, just the guy made a fuss when we were there. I just he made a big fuss. I went somewhere else, and then we went to the security checkpoint. But he was at the counter. It was not the security checkpoint. Sorry, it was the counter where we did the check-in. It was the guy from the airline company. We did a fuss. But then when he saw that, okay, we had 7 bags, it was 7 kgs, he was satisfied. Anyway, you look like punks with all your goggles and everything. But anyway, we have 7 kgs, it works. And then I was waiting close to the security checkpoint, and we all went together with the luggages. And when you go to security checkpoint, it's so busy, they don't see how many bags you have. It's more the airline company usually that counts, But at the checkpoint, you just go through and you don't show that. It's like you're just putting bag after the next, and they don't really look at it.
In total, how many shoes were you carrying with you?
That's a good question. I don't know exactly, but you could say 23 kgs multiplied by 8. That was how many shilas we had. But the number, okay, wait a sec. Yes, no, actually, we had a lot.
184.
We had a lot. No. We left 5 boxes, and that box was 4,000 shilas. Okay, so the 5 boxes we left at Ram Temple was 4,000 shilas, and we bought 2,000 shilas with us into the luggage. Okay. Yeah. So we get in, we're so happy, we're looking at each other, and then, okay, take out the goggles, put it in the top and everything. Take the trekking shoes, put your Crocs, You like the Crocs after this. So we go through it, and then we're so happy, this happened and everything. So we go back to the temple, and but it's not the end, because
4,000 shilas are still there.
Yes, 4,000 shilas were still there. So the next year, we had to wait till the next year. No. We went in April and in November, because usually we go once a year to India for pilgrimage, Vrindavan, Mayapur. So we go back the same year in October. We go to India first, then we go to Nepal, to Kathmandu. And then we're trying to figure out how we will bring these 4,000 Shilas. But no way I'm going to go see Ram Bahadur Kumar. I think he has, you know, like when you say, in French we say, je t'ai sur le mental. I have you in my mind. So no way we're going back. No way, Jose, we're going to see him again because, you know, it's not going to work out. So basically, we were trying to find for solutions, and we decided we will go see the cargo companies, not the one. Capital Cargo was finished also. They were completely burnt with us. So we went in, there's so many, you know, because people, they go do a lot of trekking or they bring beautiful items from Nepal. So there's a lot of shipping from Nepal. So we go around, we see who will be able to ship Shalagram Shilas, and we find his name was Krishna, Krishna Podel. So the guy, we talked to him and everything. He said, yes, I know what I can do. You know what I do, we have peacock feathers here, and they are items that you cannot you cannot export to other countries. So usually what I do, I put the peacock feathers on the bottom, and then I put something else on top. I go meet the guy in the immigration, and I pay under the table something so that he doesn't say anything, and then he declares he's already looked at the box. It's just actually, on the top it's just stones, or it's just like Buddha statues, things like that. So I said, if you want, I can do that for you. But you could see he was experienced in the thing, because in those countries it works like that.
Yeah.
You know, you understand, Siddharth, it works like that. Huh? So basically, we say, wow, okay. So I said, what I propose to you, you go to a shop, you buy as many Buddhist statues, like statues of Buddha, or whatever statues you can find, small statues, you know. And then what we do, you put the Shilas on the bottom and you fill the top with these small statues. So we go to every shop we can, because we have, you know, how many boxes? It was 5 boxes. We have 5 boxes and we need to fill the top. So we went to every shop possible in Kathmandu. And we took all the stock of Buddhist statues and everything. And we must have done, like, I don't know how many shops. It's not that they have like the shop full of that. So we must have done at least 10 shops, you know. We bought all the statues we could. Some were Shiva, some were Buddha, some were this and that. So, and then we filled very nicely with these nice tattoos, and under we had the Shilas and everything. I don't know, because still it's very heavy. These tattoos don't weigh so much. Anyway, the guy is paid. He's happy at the end of the day. So we had to pay, like, for the shipping, we had to pay half of it was for the guy, you know. So we do that, and everything works out finally. We received everything, no problem, you know. And all these Shilas, they're there today. Like you have seen, maybe you have sent a video? I think you have sent one, no? So,
what do you do with all the Buddha statues?
Oh, actually, we have a yoga school. So we put them in presentation for yoga students who would like to maybe to get a little Buddha statue or something.
Take Buddha back with you.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we did that. And if you ever have the chance, if you ever go to France one day and want to visit our temple, we have very beautiful deities. On the central altar, we have Nanda Maharaj. They're sitting on a beautiful throne. And as Nanda Maharaj is on the right, and is there. And then Mother Yashoda is on the left, and she's sitting, and she has Gopal on her lap, and she's holding him like that. And then just next to Nanda Maharaj is Balaram. Then next to Gopal, that's Mother Yashoda. Next to Gopal is Subhasaka, Krishna's their most intimate friend. And then just under them, there's Yamuna and Davali Mata. So Yamuna, she's Krishna's cow, one of Krishna's favorite cows. Davali, white cow, she's one of Balaram's favorite cows. And there's a pot also that belongs to Balaram. And if you look up in the top, you can see that they are actually butter pots, like makan, that is hanging on ropes on the top, you know. It's very beautiful. Then we have Radha Kunja Bihari on the left, small Radha Govinda. A beautiful painting, but it's an installed deity of Rupa Goswami. And on the right, we have Nitai Vishwambara Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara. It's a beautiful temple. And then we have also this, it's getting built now. Where in March we'll receive all the altar. We're working on the temple room now. And when we receive the teakwood altar, then we'll start preparing and putting the Shilas together. And if you have the chance one day, it's a very special darshan. Like it's always special for me, because as you know, sometimes people, they come and visit the temple. I make a tour, and I showed them the room, because now they're just in a small room. So I showed them the room with the 10,000 Shalagram Shilas, and every time I open the door, it's like a wave of spiritual energy coming. It's so special. It reminds me of a story, and Pranag Ranga Prabhu you will appreciate, because it's with Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So I was in the Montreal temple, and I came back from book distribution, that day. I opened the ashram door, and actually it was a few days ago, Gopal Krishna Maharaj had come to the temple. And as I opened the door, because I was used every day to come back, but as I opened the door, I was feeling such special spiritual energy, and I was thinking, wow, it feels like the Dham here. And I turned right, and that small room where Maharaj was staying was open, and he was worshipping his Shalagram Shilas like that, with Gornitai deities. And I was looking at that, and it was so powerful, so special, and I could see, wow, Shalagram Shilas are very special. This was my first experience of Shalagram Shilas like that, What to speak when you have 10,000 Shalagram Shilas? It's just very special. Yeah, it's very, very sweet. So this is what ends this special pastime of the search for the 10,000 Shalagram Shilas. Are there any questions or comments, maybe? It's amazing, huh? Yeah. It's out of this world.
Do you have any description of what the altar is going to be like?
Okay.
Or also you have intention of going back to get more Shilas?
So if you have not heard, Jaguar was saying, could you describe a little bit what the temple room would look like? And we have an intention to go back to Nepal to find more Shalagram Shilas. Well, let me tell you one thing, Prabhus and Matajis. When you collect Krishna in the form of Shalagram Shila, you become like, how do you say? You just become so much greedy to find Krishna even more, because it's very sweet, it's a search for Krishna, and then there's just a special reciprocation. I didn't say it, but you can just easily feel it. When you put the Shila in your hand, you can feel Krishna's presence. It's just very sweet. And there's just special, presence of Krishna. There's a special heat in the hand also. You just feel he's there. So this is very nice. And for the temple, basically, we'll have, because we have so many Shilas, we made 6 altars, that goes around. It will go like this, And each altar will have different Shilas according to the form that they have, with windows, so that we can have a nice darshan, and people from the public, they can come and visit also. And there will be there's one main altar, and there's one final piece that we have not get the chance to collect. And that's why we need to go another time, at least one last time. It's Maharaj would like to find like a big Shalagram Shila. And for those of you who know Shalagram Shilas, it's very rare to find big ones. Usually the big ones, they're seen easily before the smaller ones. Even though there's sand, you can see them on top of the land, and they're much more easier to find. So, but as we were searching over these years, we never found, like big pieces of Shalagram Shilas. So that's one goal, is that for the final piece, we would like to find 80 kgs. Imagine the size. 80 kg Shalagram Shila, in order to have a very special darshan. So we're thinking to go this year, but we're so many with different projects, so much busy with different projects, that we might probably go next year in April. And we'll keep you updated if there's like some more. I'm sure it will be an adventure, definitely, as it always has been, in the past. But yes, that's what we hope also to finalize with the temple.
Maybe Siddhartha will go.
Yeah, you should come. Anyway, if there's any of you, this is an experience of a lifetime. I'm telling you, this is so special. Because you're looking for Krishna, it's just very sweet. They're arguing, the Prabhus here are arguing whether who's going to come to find that really rare 80 kg Shalagram Shila. Anyway, you're all invited. So anything else? Yes?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Please accept my humble obeisance because it is sweet. Thank you for sharing this very wonderful pastime. It was like very sensational with our seat belts.
Yes, tighten your belt, you're up for a wild ride.
I have, I, I think I missed one point. Okay, so two questions I had. One is, I think I missed one part. Okay, so were you able to go and get those remaining $5?
Oh yes, yes, yes. That's what I was explaining. These remaining $5, we were finally able to bring them by buying Buddhist statues and then shipping them through cargo by boat.
Yes.
That's how we were able to
Yes.
bring the rest.
So,
Yes.
so the other cargo person, Krishna, okay, he was
Krishna
able to-
Padal is name. Yeah, you know, this is a blinking of Krishna. You know, I'm there. You know. Yes.
And Maharaj, the other question that I had was, so now that like, there are so many Shilas, okay, how do you, on a regular basis, how do you worship them? Okay.
That's a good question. Yes, we have pujaris every morning that worship the Shalagram Shilas. And you know, because we have so many, we cannot attend to every individual Shalagram Shila. It will not be possible. We need a huge team, like a whole family. But so basically what we do a general worship of all the Shalagram Shilas, but every day, because as you have seen in the videos, we have boxes of Shalagram Shilas. Every day, the pujari takes care of one box and baits them, every of them, and then oils them also, and then puts, you know, leaves, tulsi leaves and flowers and everything. And then the next day we go to the other box, and that means regularly all the shilas are baited and oiled and everything. So yeah, in this way we serve the Shalagram Shilas.
We look forward to having that experience.
Yes, you're all invited to come and take that special darshan. Jai, Haribol.